with every generation, the hope is that we are healing and we are learning and releasing more and more layers of the dysfunction. It may just be that it runs deep. But also as a collective, I've mentioned this recently in some classes, that collectively we are in the Virgo South Node, Pisces North Node axis for the eclipses. So as a collective, we're also working on releasing some control. Like what perfection year that you're in. I did a class on that. It's on my YouTube channel, and I have a guidebook on it, but it also may be linked to, and this is depending on your age, that maybe you're in a perfection year right now, or about to enter one that is related to the 6th house. Talked about a different Cazimi last time. These things happen. Yes, what I was saying is we usually have a few Cazimi days a year, and that's because Cazimis for any planet that retrogrades, so it's Mercury through Pluto, they all retrograde, they have a checkpoint. So when they get halfway to the date when they are going to station retrograde, there's a Cazimi. So that would be this one. So the date, I know someone just asked in the chat. So this Mercury Cazimi date is the 21st. So our last Cazimi date, we know when that was, but it's like, when did the last retrograde end? Between that and between the next retrograde starting, the midpoint is the 21st. And then you also have Cazimis during the retrograde. So you have, shadow period or the post-shadow period. The midpoint of the retrograde, there's also a Cazimi. So we ended up having several of them throughout the year. We typically have 3 retrogrades. So you can think about it like that. We usually have 1 during it. So that's 3 right there. And then we have another 3 in the times in between. So that's 6. So that gives you a handful, an extra, of dates during the year, just Mercury Cazimi days alone. And then, of course, we have Venus Cazimi days and Mars Cazimi days. Those cadences are much less frequent because they don't always retrograde every year. And then same thing with all the other planets. There's usually like a Cazimi day. So Mercury's is much more fruitful, much more frequent, but there's typically Cazimi day for the rest of the planets at some point. And again, if you would like to kind of get an overview of when all of those are, if you get my 2026 calendar, I put all the Cazimis in there. So you can literally just type in the search bar, Cazimi, and it will spit out a list of all of them for the entire year. So then you'll have an idea of the count, when they're happening. And of course, you can drill into which areas of your chart they're occurring. Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn. Those are the signs. Planets move. Signs don't. So signs and houses, the backdrop is formed by how your chart is oriented. And the orientation of your chart, which houses fall in which sign, that is based upon a whole lot of math that fortunately a little computer can do for us based on where you were and when you were born. So it orients the Earth around a certain point, what's on the horizon line, and then casts all of the planets out based on where they were that day at that time. And it's just a snapshot. So you can think about that for the transit astrology as well. So if somebody happened to be born on this Cazimi day on the 21st, then it means if you looked at their natal chart, it's going to show Mercury and the sun are in the same spot in Aquarius at 1 degree. So when we are looking at transit astrology, we're like, I keep it simple with this and we just do one at a time. So we're like, okay, where's this one planet moving? And we just focus on that little section. But really on any of these given days, there's a whole chart on top of it. So there's all of the other planets also are existing at the same time, but overlaying in your chart. When you look at your chart, there's usually going to be 4. It's going to be some sort of a cross, whatever the angle is, but there's 4, if you will, technically 2, darker lines, thicker lines. One of them represents the MC and IC. So it's like public versus private shorthand. And then we have the ascendant and descendant. So sometimes it's ASC, DSC, or AC or DC. And the ascendant, that's your rising sign. So when we talk about your big three, when we're talking about orientation of your chart, ascendant is super, super, super important. The descendant typically ends up, but not always, in your 7th house. The idea between, but it's going to be, 6, 7, 8 normally. The idea with the rising is that's like who you are, who you're going to be part of your life mission. And then the descendant is factoring in what is going on with other people. So this is you as an individual in relation to other people. And that's the counterbalance. So for here we had public, private, or internal, external. And then we have me, us. This analogy of like you're in a car and you're kind of driving, and the route that you're going is you're trying to like become in more alignment with your ascendant. That could suggest you may innately have some descendant traits, so whatever that sign is as well, and that you're moving away from some of that. But again, we have the moving towards and moving away is really heavily the North Node, South Node dynamic. Because when it comes to all of these, it's a sister sign situation. So when you have your ascendant, when you're embodying your rising sign, it means you have to deeply understand that descendant, that sister sign, because they're always going to be exact opposite. And so you have to integrate the traits. Whereas for the North Node, South Node, like we're really trying to let go. We're trying to let go of that South Node and just move towards. We're trying to leave that in the past, have it be history. Descendants more yin yang. Yes. So you may innately have some of those tendencies, but we do want to align with the ascendant. So we can consider them, but we want to let go of the ones that aren't like helping our cause, because they have, usually the sister signs have some fundamental similarities to them, but then they have some differences. So whatever's kind of not working and not providing the balance that you need to like really power up and live in alignment with the ascendant, then those are the things to work on tending to or healing. So that is also another way to think about it. But yeah, confusing with the nodes. So there's the nodes, and then there's the ascendant, descendant line, and there's, again, some things kind of in common, but some things that are different. If you watch any of my videos on my YouTube channel, I give you like any transits that talk about Neptune. I explain a little bit about what it is. If you want to better understand what Neptune means in your chart, then I have readings for that. So I go, so my level 2 reading is every single planet. So I go from the sun, moon, all the way to Pluto and talk about what each planet means, what it means based on the sign it's in, what it means based on the house it's in, and give you a full breakdown. So if you're interested in that, to specifically look at Neptune or, your rising sign, or literally, again, all of them, I cover that in my level 2 reading.